All right, guys, welcome back to the Hood Knees Fantasy Football Podcast. This is episode 9, week 1 recap and waiver pickups for this week. I know we talked about episode 9 being AFC East and West, but we couldn't get to it. So this is episode 9. Listen up. We got some good information for you guys here. Let's go ahead and just jump on into the Ravens Chiefs. Let's start off with Mark Andrews. Terrible. Only 2.4 fantasy points and a half PPR, 2 receptions, 2 targets.
Whoa.
The star of that show was Isaiah Likely with 21.6 fantasy points, 12 targets, 9 receptions, 111 yards, and a touchdown, which is, I think, the best tight end performance of the week and probably on everyone's waivers.
Oh, easily. Probably like over 90% of the waivers, Isaiah Likely's there.
Yeah, only people that have maybe Mark Andrews that wanted to have him have Isaiah Likely just as a backup. But other than that, he's on the waivers. We'll talk about him later.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson did his thing. 16 rushing attempts, 122 yards rushing, 25 fantasy points. He did solid as a QB. You drafted him to do that for you, so he was good. Derrick Henry, 13 attempts, 46 yards, 1 touchdown. People are saying that Derrick Henry is game script heavy, meaning when they're winning, he does great. When they're losing, not so great. Any thoughts on that, BTB?
Honestly, I mean, that statistic's been there for a long time. I think it's been there for over 5 years. But
Right.
yeah, I drafted Derrick Henry. I'm not too worried as a fantasy owner. I think Derrick Henry will still get his touches. He'll get more yardage. He's playing against the Chiefs. Like, the Chiefs is known to be a great defense, you know? And so
Right.
I think Derrick Henry should see more volume, more work, and should get more into the end zone for sure.
Agreed. Don't worry about Derrick Henry. He'll be fine. Zay Flowers, 10 targets, 6 receptions. He only had 37 yards, but, you know, Chiefs defense is great. So, I mean, it's hard to, he's got a lot of targets. He was the second leader in targets after Isaiah Likely, but he's going to be a good piece on that offense. And, you know, he's doing what you expect him to do.
Yeah.
That's it for the Ravens. You got anyone else in the Ravens, or is that it?
No, I mean, just Ravens. I know they didn't win, but like, they're going to be a great powerhouse of offense. Don't worry about what happened in game 1.
Agreed. Let's go to the Chiefs. We had Mahomes with like 15 fantasy points and a half PPR, 4-point scoring. He's Mahomes. The Baltimore defense is pretty good as it is. And there were some rush touchdowns, so that got taken away from the touchdowns from Mahomes. But he'll be better. Like, Mahomes will do great in other games.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier Worthy was the kind of the star there on the Chiefs side of the ball. Or he had 2 receptions, 3 targets, 47 yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. And he had 1 rush, 21 yards, and a touchdown. So he had two total touchdowns. Xavier Worthy, the rookie, I mean, he's super fast. Doesn't he have the fastest
40-yard dash?
40-yard dash time, yeah. So I think they're going to use him a lot of gadget plays. They got rid of McKinnon. I think they're going to use him kind of in those plays.
Yeah.
Pacheco had 45 yards, 15 rush attempts, 2 receptions, 33 yards. He did solid for that week 1. I think he had 1 rush touchdown.
Yeah, he did.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 1 touchdown. I mean, he did solid overall. I'm not too worried about Pacheco. His volume looks pretty good. He looks like he's doing his thing. Rashee Rice had 9 targets, 7 receptions for 103 total yards, which is solid overall. I like that. That's pretty good, you know, as long as Hollywood Brown isn't there. I mean, those two are getting it done. They won the game.
Yeah.
And they did solid.
I mean, if you're getting that out of your round 6 pick, like, that's great.
Yeah, definitely. Any other thoughts on this game?
Yeah, man, that was a crazy game, dude. Leading up to the hype, man, I was juiced. I was watching it.
Yeah.
Everything was fire. I was a little annoyed how Kelsey couldn't perform, but I'm not going to blame Kelsey too much because everyone was eating on that offense. And so pretty much the defenses, I think, in the future are going to try to, like, dial some things up for the other players, and I think Kelsey will get even more open. So I'm not too worried if I'm a Kelsey owner. He's going to shine at some point.
Yeah, 4 targets, 3 receptions for Kelsey, 34 yards. Underwhelming for a guy that you drafted in like the 3rd or 4th round. Even if you got into the 4th round, still, I mean, not really worth much there.
Yeah.
So very underwhelming, very unfortunate. He'll bounce back, like BBTB said. Don't sell too high. So I'll repeat this probably throughout the episode. Don't overreact after week 1. It's just not a good idea. Believe that.
Yeah.
Also, for those listening, I know you guys probably have noticed we've already been like 5 minutes into the episode. It's just me and BBTV here. So MFB was unable to make it. He's in what I like to call a blender. And so he will not be able to join us this evening.
And then there's a rule within the Hoodies. If you have 3 blenders, you're going to be kicked off the podcast. So if you're not here in the next 2 more times, we're going to give you the boot, brother.
Yeah. I hope you listen to this episode. But yeah, I was hoping no one would notice, but I keep looking at the camera and it's just BBTB and myself. So yeah, I had to bring that up. Anyways, let's move on. Eagles, anything else for Chiefs, Ravens, or are we good?
No, that's pretty much it. 2 great fantasy teams, great fantasy players on there.
Yeah. All right. Eagles, Packers, Saquon, stud, 24 attempts, 109 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 receptions for 23 yards, and a receiving touchdown. So 3 total touchdowns. Went crazy. I mean, menace. I think the Eagles wanted to showcase the running back they just got. So that was, I don't think he's not capable of doing that every game. I just think that they're going to be like, all right, let's calm down. We don't want to run this guy into the ground. We're in Brazil.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he will continue to do great things, but I don't think he's doing that every game. But if he does,
he's phenomenal.
I'll be happy.
Yeah, like people were getting him early round 2, man, and he's a clear top 5 player.
Oh man, I every league I was in, he went round 1, and that was where he belonged.
Really?
Honestly. Oh yeah, I think in all my leagues he went round. If he went to round 2 in one of your leagues, good for you if you got him round 2.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it was wild. AJ Brown, 5 receptions on 10 targets, 119 yards and a tutty. I think he had a 68-yard touchdown.
He had a crazy touchdown on that.
Yeah, he had a long touchdown. Yeah. So that honestly kind of saved his fantasy day, or really made his fantasy day. If he didn't have that, that's what you're out like almost 13 fantasy points from that alone.
Yeah.
So that was a really good play. I mean, he's capable of that though. So yeah. AJ Brown's good. He does good things. Don't worry about him. Jalen Hurts, very underwhelming performance for someone that you drafted probably early as a QB. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, one of which he lost.
Yeah.
And they were on the 1-yard line. They tried to do the tush push, and the snapper, I guess he fumbled it, and he complained about the snapper. Jason Kelsey's no longer there. So tush push might be gone.
No. It's not gone. It's not gone. It's honestly, that center has been behind Kelsey for a long time. So finally gets his game to play, and what you call it?
Prime time in Brazil.
Yeah, jitters, and I'm not blaming
everyone was slipping. Everyone was slipping in that game too.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
It was crazy. The conditions were terrible. They had to postpone the game because of the rain.
Yeah,
or something like that.
I'm not really blaming Jalen Hurts. I think he'll just do just fine. Just clear those fumbles, those interceptions. He'll be fine.
Oh, please. I hope he does fine. I have him in like at least 2 of my leagues, maybe not 3, if not 3. Devonta Smith, 8 targets, 7 receptions, 84 yards.
Solid.
Hey, I mean, he'll continue to do good things. He'll have big games too. So that was a solid game. I mean, you drafted him 3rd, 4th round. He's going to keep doing
Honestly,
good.
I feel like he does that like every game, just adds, but like around like where he's getting his catches and yards. But one of those games are just going to become a touchdown too. And so it'll just be the cherry on top. So I like Devonta Smith.
Yeah.
For sure.
Definitely. He could have done exactly what AJ Brown did, and it would have been reversed. AJ Brown would have had a lot less points. Devonta Smith would have had 20 points or like more than 20 fantasy points. So yeah, that offense high powered. It all those players. I mean, I just think that the Eagles defense isn't like, their secondary isn't the best. So teams can score on them, and that forces them to have to also play and score. So you'll get a lot of points out of those guys. Packers, I mean, Jaden Reed, man, 6 targets, 4 receptions, and he had 138 yards and only 1 touchdown. But I mean, 138 yards on 4 receptions is crazy.
He played lights out that game. That man was crazy.
On it. Yeah, no, he was, I mean, unbelievable. He played fantastic. Uh, Jordan Love had he had 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he had an MCL sprain, out 3 to 6 weeks.
All right,
Could be longer. Yeah, man. For all those that drafted, Jordan Love late, you kind of fading the QB, like BBTB said.
Yeah.
It might come back to bite you. So, it's it's unfortunate, but he'll be back hopefully, and he'll be healthy. So these guys on the Packers are a little bit questionable now going forward, because backup is Malik Willis,
Yeah, Malik
I think,
Willis.
and he is not good.
Mm-mm.
Terrible. So yeah, you might want to sell high on Jaden Reed, or just hold on to him, wait till Jordan Love comes back, and then get that production back. I forgot to mention, Jaden Reed had a rushing touchdown, 33-yard rush for a touchdown in that game.
Yes.
So he had 2 total touchdowns. Yeah, forgot to mention that. Yeah. Josh Jacobs, 16 attempts, 84 yards, 2 receptions, 20 yards, no touchdowns. I mean, are you worried about Josh Jacobs?
Not, I wouldn't say worried about Josh Jacobs. I feel like he's still going to get that same production and volume, but
Yeah.
I don't think that offense is going to be getting those kind of points and being pushed down the field like that.
All right. Especially not with Malik Willis as your QB.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm worried for Josh Jacobs though, but I'm worried for
it might be good for Josh Jacobs, because they're like, look, no one can catch anything. We're just going to decoy the throws, and we're just going to let Josh Jacobs go crazy and just do dump offs to him. Yeah. So he might actually get an uptick in production. So just look out for that. Just a random fact, Dobbs had the most targets with 7 targets. I think he had 5 receptions. So I know Jaden Reed did the best overall, and he went crazy, but Dobbs did have the most targets. So target share is pretty evenly split. I think Christian Watson had 5 targets. So it's pretty evenly split. Let's move on to Panthers Saints. BBTB, why don't you take us away with that?
Sir. Panthers Saints, my team, man, killed them 47-10, man. Love that game. Phenomenal game. Everyone played great. We got Alvin Kamara, man. I think he's probably steal of the draft, man. A lot of people drafting him round 5, 20 fantasy points. He honestly could have had more, but we were giving the ball to Jamal Williams and our third string back. Jamal Williams got a touchdown. He could have had a touchdown, but Derek Carr wanted to throw one in. Kamara solid going forward. Finished with 20 fantasy points. And if you do have Kamara, keep Kamara. If you don't have Kamara, go get Kamara, because that man will be your fantasy league winner, 100%. We're gonna go Chris Olave.
15 attempts to 83 yards.
Yeah, Chris Olave, big disappointment, man. Chris Olave as a player, he's great, but there's so many weapons on the Saints that he's not gonna be fed the ball like how Justin Jefferson needs the ball, or Chase needs the ball, or Devontae.
Right. 2 receptions, 2 targets, 11 yards for Chris Olave.
Yeah, and so pretty much like Chris Olave, he's great, but there's so many options that I don't see Chris Olave going crazy. He might go crazy one game, but then another game he might just do whatever. And so, so it's a little bit of a disappointment. Saints defense, phenomenal defense, but I'll say that they were playing the Panthers. So obviously it's the Panthers, but the Saints look good, man. Saints look really good. I think they finished with 22 points, a couple fumbles. I think 1 interception. And yeah, overall, I mean, and the Saints players played great. Derek Carr was cool. I wouldn't say he's your starting QB, but he was cool.
Right. He played well. He did his job.
Pretty much.
Anything about the Panthers?
No. Panthers trash. I'm so sorry. I said Bryce Young was going to pop up.
That team did not perform. Everyone, for all those that are listening, every week, find out who's playing the Panthers and play that defense. That's what you're going to do. It's the easiest thing to do.
Do not
get that defense.
Yeah.
And play them.
Do not
against
play
the Panthers.
a Panthers player, though. Don't play no
Not even Deontay
Tucker.
Johnson, your sleeper.
As of now, don't play Deontay Johnson. Please.
Hold Deontay Johnson. Don't play him.
Yeah.
Hold him until they know what they're doing there, and then
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I agree with you. Nothing to talk about with the Panthers. If you guys want more details on that, please do your own research. We don't want to talk about them for even 1 second, so
Please.
we're going to go ahead and move on
Yeah.
to Vikings Giants. BBTB, take it away.
Yes, sir. So Vikings Giants, man. Vikings. Jay Jettis is still him, man. He's playing like the money that he got paid, dude. Route running was great. Like just getting open for that ball. Honestly, and Sam Darnold, man, he's slinging that thing, dude.
Dude, and I wanted to say that Sam Darnold's not bad, but MFB said in preseason he looked terrible. So I actually didn't see him play, and he played terrible. I'm not saying MFB is wrong or he lied, but I thought Sam Darnold was decent, so I was surprised by that. But apparently he's just fine.
Look, I'm be honest, bro. I think MFB lied, dude. Like Sam Darnold is solid.
or they just they told him to do some stupid stuff and like, I don't know, backwards passes, close your eyes and throw the ball or something. They smoke screen everyone, bro. Smoke screen everyone.
But literally, he's a great system quarterback. Like wherever the ball needs to go to, he will get the ball there. Like just the way he plays. Like,
2 passing touchdowns. Well, he had an interception, but
he did,
200 yards, two touchdowns. I mean, they didn't need to do more than that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say make that your starting QB, but like, I'm happy with having some Viking players on my team.
I mean, to be honest, they didn't really need to do anything else after, like, he had 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. He didn't need to do anything else. The Giants are just terrible.
Yeah, I was about to get into that. Vikings defense, man. Great defense. Shut out the Giants. Daniel Jones getting mocked by his own fans. That was crazy. Watched all that. Daniel Jones needs to step it up. I feel bad for Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors played a great game.
Man, but what a letdown, man. What an absolute letdown.
Addison, he got hurt. I think he left the game.
It's looking like they said he just got forced out with significant soreness in his right ankle, according to O'Connell.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell. So
you got Hawkinson out, you got Addison out, but I feel like the other receivers will step it up, especially Jay Jettis. Jay Jettis somehow gets open, gets the ball, for sure top 3 receiver in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Aaron Jones, dude, sleeper pick. Finished with 18 fantasy points. I have him on my team. PPR. I was high on this guy. A lot of people were not high on him. Finished with 18 points over. I'll admit the snaps.
I was not high on him.
Dude.
14 attempts, 94 yards, and a touchdown.
What else can you ask for?
2 receptions, 2 targets, 15 yards. Not bad. Dude, he played an excellent game.
He was my flex, by the way, too. My flex.
Oh yeah. If you got him as your flex, you're happy right now.
Very happy. Yeah. And that's pretty much it, man. Nothing else. Singletary's there. Didn't show much. Yeah. He's still gonna get some work if you have Singletary. Just
he only had 10 attempts. They didn't need to run the ball. They need to throw the ball.
Yeah.
So in that situation, that game script, he had 4 receptions on 5 targets, but because they needed to throw the ball. He had half the number of rushing attempts in throws. So they need to just throw. So yeah. But in other games where hopefully they can be up or it's closer, maybe he'll get more attempts.
Yeah.
So the crazy stat I want to bring up on this matchup before we continue. Mm-hmm. Apparently, I didn't actually fact check this, but apparently Daniel Jones has thrown more pick sixes than touchdowns since he got paid that $150 million contract, I think, at the beginning of last year.
Wait, he got through more.
He has thrown more pick six. No, pick sixes. He has thrown more pick sixes, not interceptions.
Oh,
even worse.
Oh, wow.
That means he threw to the other team and they scored a touchdown off that throw. More of those than he's thrown touchdown since he got paid $150 million.
That is.
If any of you watched Hard Knocks, they were highly considering getting a QB.
Wow.
But they said, you know what? We'll give this guy a shot. We paid him. We're going to get Malik Neighbors in the draft. They are probably regretting that big time.
Oh,
because I mean, they didn't really have many other receivers, so it made sense to get a good receiver, start with that because they already paid him. But more pick sixes than touchdowns is an insane stat. And if you're listening to this, you can fact check it. We probably should fact check it, but I did see that stat somewhere.
That's crazy.
And if that's true, that's the craziest stat I've heard in a long time.
I just feel bad for the Giants fans, man.
100%.
I feel so bad for them, man.
Yeah, they
Giants
need.
fan. My condolences are with you.
I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry. That's it on those two teams. Anything else?
No, man. We
move it along. Patriots Bengals.
Yeah, Patriots Bengals. Horrible Bengals, very horrible. Joe Burrow looked mid. Chase mid. He's still trying to get his contract signed. He's not looking like that top tier kind of contract. T Higgins was out, so that kind of might have affected like how the offense would flow. You know, T Higgins would get covered a little bit more. Chase could get freed up. But I don't know. Bengals offense wasn't moving. Zach Moss though. Zach Moss was doing his thing.
Yeah, Zach Moss he only had 9 attempts, but he had 44 yards, a touchdown, and then 2 receptions on 4 targets. He did enough for where you drafted him.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was around 9 or 10 picks. So like you can't really get mad at that.
He did good for how bad that team did.
Yeah. Chase owners, I would panic. I know you drafted him in your first round. He has a contract issue right now. He didn't look that great. Joe Burrow didn't look that good either. I'm panicking on Chase, but I just hold just because it's the first week, but I'd be panicking.
Remember, I said I would say this again in the podcast. Don't overreact on week 1. It's really easy to just be like, "Oh my god, panic sell!" Like quick, like you're talking about a guy that
sell. Don't panic.
Yes,
sell.
I mean, don't panic. Don't panic. React.
But I'm panicking.
No. I say give it 2-3 weeks. If in 3 weeks we're talking about Jamar Chase is still under like 50 yards, because he had 62 yards on 6 receptions, 6 targets. So like if he's like only doing that every game and less than 10 fantasy points for 3 weeks straight, panic.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the Bengals. Patriots.
Yeah.
Patriots defense was solid, man. They just looked really good. And
that defense has always been pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got Ramondre is a great RB2 in fantasy, bro. I was fading that guy.
I faded him too. That was my RB fade. I gave so many reasons. I was like, do not touch this guy under any circumstance. Like I said, it goes both ways. I'm not going to overreact to him he had 25 attempts, 120 yards, and a touchdown.
Great.
He only had 3 receptions, 3 targets, only for 6 yards, but 120 yards and a touchdown, 25 attempts. He did his thing, man. So I mean, hey, I can't hate, but yeah, he was the best, clear by far the best player on the Patriots.
Easily.
And pretty much everyone else is worthless.
Yeah, that's it. No, that's it for those two teams.
Yeah, we don't even need to speak on the Patriots. That just Ramondre Stevenson. That is all.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into Steelers Falcons. I know you want to talk about this one, so why don't you go ahead and get into it?
I got you with this one. Steelers, man. Justin Fields, I don't know. He looked whatever. He wasn't playing the best. Running all over.
I mean, what do you expect, right?
Yeah.
He kind of got thrown into that. Russell Wilson, just out of nowhere, my ass or whatever is bothering him.
Yeah, whatever. Then, yes, he was on.
Literally, yeah. And then he just chickened out, and then Justin Fields had to step up. So I don't really blame him.
Yeah, but honestly, dude, I think the fantasy player of the week by the position goes to Boswell, the kicker. He had 6 field goals, dude. I think he finished.
He went crazy.
Crazy, man. Like
he had 26 fantasy points, I think, in like normal scoring format.
I think I don't really know. Like over half of the people in the first round going in the draft.
He went. So something to note that I realized about after I saw his score, Chris Boswell. I mean, they played against the Falcons, who's not a bad defense, but you have to realize that they have a really amazing receiver in George Pickens and some decent running backs and just a terrible QB. They might not be able to score a lot. So if they cannot score, they are just fine with kicking and getting the field goal and just taking those points. And Mike Tomlin, he doesn't need to win by a whole lot. He just needs to win. That's all
Exactly.
he cares about.
All he cares
So
about.
he is a smart coach, and he's been the coach of the Steelers for some time now. I could see Boswell just continuously being one of those kickers that you draft early because you're like, dude, this guy, he's just going to keep getting me consistent, like minimum 12 fantasy points every week.
I have Boswell literally double digits every single week.
Yeah.
Easily. Like
we'll talk about him when we talk about waiver pickup.
Oh, yeah. There it is. What you call it? We're going to move on to Najee Harris. Dude, he got a lot of carries, man. I think
20 attempts, dude, 70 yards.
Like, if that offense can somehow move, though, like, even though it kind of was moving, kind of wasn't.
Yeah. We'll see when Russell Wilson gets back in there what it looks like, huh?
Yeah, and then if they can get in the goal line, man, they're just going to feed Najee, dude.
Yeah.
Like, certified RB1.
The defense is good. Isn't what's his name? TJ Watt is there, right?
Oh, TJ Watt was killing.
He's a beast, bro. So they're gonna be, the defense is good. The offense just needs to score field goals. They don't need to do anything else. So that's interesting dynamic there.
Yeah, I mean, defense won them the game pretty much. Like, defense was there, especially TJ Watt. Going crazy with that. Pickens was he was all right. Wasn't the best. I think when
6 receptions on 7 targets, he did okay.
Yeah,
85 yards.
Me personally, I think when Russ comes back, I feel like Pickens will be a little bit better. But when you get Justin Fields, and then like when he looks at his read options, from options 1 through 4, doesn't like.
I mean, we'll see.
On his feet. Russ doesn't do that. Russ will try to force that ball, and I'd rather have, like, fantasy wise, if I have a receiver or a tight end or running back, I would want a quarterback to just force it so I can get the ball to my guy,
Yep.
So I wouldn't trip over George Pickens if I'm a Pickens owner, by the way.
Yeah. All right.
And that's pretty much on the Steelers. I didn't see much of Warren, the backup to Najee.
Jalen Warren. Yeah, he only had it was 7 attempts, I think, or no. He had 2 attempts, 7 yards.
Yeah.
So nothing really.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Najee solidified argument.
Yeah, 100%.
Moving on to the Falcons. Looked horrible. I'll be honest, that did not look good. Kirk Cousins, he needs to fix it, dude. Like, they paid him all that money. They brought a new head coach. Brand new coach.
We talked about the Steelers defense being like playing lights out. So
true.
It sucks that that's his debut, but I mean, it is what it is, right? You're in the NFL, perform,
Yeah. And so, I mean, they just need to fix it. They did play against a really good Steelers defense, so I'm gonna cut them some slack a little bit there. But I feel like you just gotta feed your guys, dude. Feed Drake London. Feed Kyle Pitts. Even though Kyle Pitts got that touchdown, without that touchdown,
three targets. 3 targets, 3 receptions, and he got all 3 of his targets, and he got a touchdown. So is this the breakout season for Kyle Pitts? It very well could be.
Could be if he gets the ball more,
Yeah, but he had, and Bijan also had 18 attempts for 68 yards. So he did his thing, man. 5 receptions, 5 targets. Yeah, he did 43 yards. Pretty good.
Yeah. So I mean, if the Falcons could be a good team, if Kirk could just move that ball, man. I kind of put that blame on Kirk just a little bit, even though I know TJ Watt was kind of eating him alive. But we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, you had Drake London had 3 targets, 2 receptions. Ray McLeod led the team in targets with 7. So 7 targets, 4 receptions, 52 yards. I guess him and Kirk Cousins have a thing. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, we'll see. I feel like Drake London and Pitts will still be the guys there. I feel like just. Wow. Yeah,
no, for sure. I mean, that's why I say don't overreact week 1. Give it some time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to a fun one: Texans Colts.
Yes, sir. Kimmy, got that one?
Yeah, I can jump into this one. Yeah. So, I mean, Texans went crazy. I mean, everyone on the team did good. You had my RB fade, Joe Mixon.
Crazy.
Don't ever take my advice on an RB fade. That was not my RB fade. That was my bonus fade. And I didn't have enough time to come up with a better one.
It was still your fate, though,
So
brother.
I will take that one. That was my fade. I'm sorry. I apologize. Don't ever take my advice on my bonus fade. Joe Mixon, 30 attempts, 159 yards, and a touchdown. Like, it just excellent. Stephon Diggs caught all 6 of his targets. Or he had 6 targets, 6 receptions, and 2 touchdowns. He only had 33 yards, but the touchdowns are what matter. You know what I mean? CJ Stroud, the 2 touchdowns he threw to Stephon Diggs, 234 yards, no interceptions. He played great. Nico Collins, 8 targets, 6 receptions, 117 yards. Everyone played great. I mean, even Tank Dell, 7 targets. He only had 3 receptions, but still, he had 2 rush attempts.
We'll get there.
This is a high-powered offense. You know, I don't know how I feel about Diggs in terms of like his value. Do you sell him now, or do you say, no, he's going to do this every single game, and he's just, he's easily going to get a touchdown a game? Like, I don't think that's possible. Just if you're thinking about it.
That's true. I wouldn't sell him though, because I feel like I would keep him because I feel like he's gonna get those targets and those receptions.
Yeah.
But for the touchdowns, he's not going to get a touchdown every single game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's averaging, what is it, about 5 yards, 5.5 yards a target. Yeah. So he's not getting super deep targets, but he's getting the ones that matter in the end zone,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And honestly, that was CJ Stroud's favorite red zone target.
Right.
So Diggs, Stroud, that connection's fire.
Yeah. I mean, it looks nice. I like that connection. That team's high powered. If you don't have a Texan on your team, you should get a Texan on your team and just have at least one of them. Any of them can blow up. You got Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Joe Mixon. You can completely ignore Dalton Schultz, the MFB's tight end fade. Don't look at him.
Don't look at that.
He's disgusting.
Guy. Horrible.
He might do something, but I wouldn't count on it. Into the Colts, Anthony Richardson. I mean, he did great. He had an interception, but he had 2 touchdowns. He had 6 rushing attempts, 56 yards, and a rush touchdown, which is what you love for your quarterback. Those rush touchdowns are huge.
Huge.
The leader in yards was actually not Michael Pittman. It was Alec Pierce. I don't know if you remember Alec Pierce. I think he kind of came to light last year, or was the year before? Was it last year or the year before?
Last year.
Last year, yeah. He had 3 receptions on 3 targets, 125 yards, man.
He was a deep ball threat.
Oh, yeah. And he had that 1 touchdown, man. I mean, dude, I don't know if you react on that. You can maybe take a shot on him on waivers. We'll talk about that in the waiver segment, but he played great, man. He did his thing. He did what he had to do. You had Jonathan Taylor with 16 rush attempts, which is great, man. And he had a rush touchdown. So 48 yards, 1 rush touchdown. Not as much as you would want from Jonathan Taylor from a first-round pick, but it's just week 1. Like we said, don't overreact. If he does this every week and he's barely getting 15 attempts and he doesn't get a touchdown, or, next game he can get up to 20 attempts. It's hard when you have a rushing quarterback, but he's still a beast, so I wouldn't be too worried. Pittman didn't do his thing, man. 8 targets, 4 receptions.
Panic.
31 yards. Not good enough for a 4th round or 5th round pick for me. I'm not panicking. I told you week 1, you don't panic. If we see in week 2, we can panic. So
I'm just really low on Michael Pittman, but
yeah, that's fair. I mean, as a lot of people were. So, he did throw to Alec Pierce was crazy. Oh, the one, did you see that? Bro. He cannon for an arm.
He literally stood in the pocket and just
sling that thing
60+ yards.
Crazy.
Not even the drop step. He just
no, he did his thing, man.
He saw.
Anyways, he's a beast. Let's move on to Bills Cardinals. So, we had Bills, Josh Allen, man. I mean, come on. What is there to say about Josh Allen? I think he finished the first quarter with -2 fantasy points or something.
I had him. I was getting mad.
Dude, I mean, I was playing against him. I was getting excited. I was like, let's go. Perfect. I was like, bro, nothing to worry about, right?
Yeah.
And then he just, I mean, I have him in one league too. So I was like, whatever, I'm winning that league. I don't care. But he just came back and ended up with 31 fantasy points in regular 4-point scoring. Man, he had 2 touchdowns, 2 rush touchdowns, 2 throwing touchdowns. Man, just, he's a beast, man. Clear art, like QB1, like above everyone else. You can't go wrong with Josh Allen. That's why he went first in every league. Well, if you didn't take him first, you took Mahomes instead. You're an idiot. I don't know what else to tell
I was
you.
about to say, dummy.
I just there's not much else I can tell you about that besides that. So, James Cook, he had 19 attempts, 71 yards, and he had 3 receptions for 32 yards, no touchdowns. So, but his production, the volume is there. Don't worry about
there for sure.
James Cook. Khalil Shakir had a touchdown on 3 targets, 3 receptions, 42 yards. Mac Hollins caught a touchdown. I haven't heard that name since, wasn't he on the Raiders?
No, I thought he was in Atlanta.
Was he on Atlanta last year? That's right. I think he was
Atlanta
on the Raiders
last
before
year,
that.
the year before.
That's right.
Was the Raiders.
Completely forgot about it, but he did get a touchdown.
Crazy.
2 targets. Ignore him. Completely ignore him.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman had 5 targets, 4 receptions for 51 yards. So technically he was the yard leader.
Yeah.
So I think, don't worry about Keon Coleman. He's going to keep it up. As soon as he gets a touchdown, he goes from, 7 fantasy points to having like almost 15, right? So be patient with him. He also was the target leader. I think the biggest L on that team has to be Dalton Kincaid with 2 targets, 1 reception, 11 yards, and nothing else.
Pathetic, bro.
Terrible. Horrible. Don't panic, but it just, you don't like to see that. And this is why, BBTB, what do you do with the tight end in the draft?
You fade the tight end in the draft.
This is why you fade the tight end, guys, because this can happen to you. And don't get me wrong, Kincaid could have went out and gotten 7 targets, 6 receptions, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, and you're like, oh, dude, this is why I drafted Kincaid. He's the best tight end, blah, 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 right? Okay, cool. But he could also do this. 2 targets, 1 reception, 11 yards. It's like, do you want to waste a 4th or 5th round draft pick on that? I don't know, man. You want consistency sometimes. Some people want boom or bust. We'll see how it goes through the season. Like I said, don't panic. But just, be aware. We're going to go ahead and move into the Cardinals, best team in the league, clearly.
Excuse me.
They played okay. They didn't play that well. James Conner looked good though. 16 attempts, 50 yards, a touchdown. He had 4 targets, 3 receptions, 33 yards. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, man. James Conner's solid every year.
He looked good, man. Against the Bills defense, and the Bills defense is good.
Like somehow he goes round 5, round 4 every year, and he still pops off.
I don't know how he just falls to those rounds. Honestly, I look back at my draft and I'm like, why didn't I take him? So people are worried about his injury. I mean, dude, just pick up whoever the backup, DeMarcado or whoever that they drafted Trey Benson. That's right.
Yeah.
Pick him up, stash him, and just get James Conner, man. It's worth it. Cool. Too late now, but next year we'll see about that. Kyler Murray did his thing. Didn't do enough. He had a touchdown. He had 5 rushing attempts for 57 yards, which is pretty good. Don't worry about Kyler Murray. He played against a tough Bills defense.
Yeah.
I think the person you should be worried about is who everyone was drafting in the 2nd round. And if you were dumb enough, you drafted in the 1st round, Marvin Harrison.
Oh.
It was, I think, 3 targets, 1 reception, 4 yards. Wow. Absolutely abysmal. Is the word I'm going to use.
I think that's the worst round 1 fantasy performer of the week.
Don't panic. Don't panic, guys. Listen, as a Cardinals fan, I'm telling you guys. As a Cardinals fan, I'm telling you guys.
Hey,
listen,
go talk to your
looky here.
Bro. Go talk
looky here in the camera. I'm looking in the camera. Don't panic. Don't worry about my boy, Marvin Harrison. Right, do not panic. Shut up. Yeah, he abysmal. That's all I can say. Yeah. But we'll wait and see what he does next week. Mm-hmm. Don't panic yet. If he does it again next week and just takes a crap, start panicking a little bit. Trey McBride, man, 9 targets, target leader. You
Yeah.
know, 5 receptions, 30 yards. I mean, not what you expect out of a 4th round, 5th round tight end. You know, this is why. What do you do with the tight end, BBTB?
Fade the tight end, bro.
This is why, guys. Come on, this is why you listen to the podcast, guys. Um, the next closest in targets was Greg Dortch with 8 targets,
That's crazy.
6 receptions, 47 yards. So Dortch might be that guy.
He's not that guy. He's not that guy.
Michael Wilson had the touchdown on 2 targets, 1 reception. I mean, 8 targets for Greg Dortch, man. He might be. He's not going to be Michael. Marvin Harrison. But hey, you know, he had the targets. Keep an eye on him. I wouldn't pick him up, but keep an eye on him on your waivers. Let's go ahead and move on to Bears Titans. BBTB, why don't you go ahead and talk to us about that?
Yes, sir. Bears.
By the way, we need to start speeding through these. This episode's getting long.
All right.
I'm just going to be honest with the viewers. Sorry, guys. We're going to just straight through these.
Need to fix their offense. Caleb
Williams. Next.
Yeah, that's it. Done. No, what you got? Caleb Williams played horrible, but I think he just needs to adjust to the NFL and speed and everything like that. Receivers were kind of doing their thing. Like they're getting open because I was kind of watching the game, but Keenan was limping a little bit, like half the time.
Uh-oh.
You know, he's dealing with a heel injury.
Good, man. It's not good.
DJ Moore was looking solid. Romo Dunze, wasn't really doing much. Pretty much just running out there.
Romo Dunze got hurt, knee injury.
Oh,
MRI seems like, according to the MRI, it's an MCL sprain. Apparently.
Yeah,
and apparently he's apparently, according to this, poised to miss some time.
Well, sorry, Romo Dunze, but I think that's a good thing for DJ Moore and Keenan though, because they get their targets now.
Yep, and Cole Kmet, tight end.
Yeah,
who was also invisible that game.
Yeah, exactly. And then and another guy invisible was DeAndre Swift, man. That guy played horrible.
10 attempts. He was the rush leader. But 10 attempts, 30 yards. I mean, I think when there's nothing working in the passing game, you can't get the run game going.
Easy.
That's just what it is, in my opinion.
Yeah, but what saved them, dude, was the Chicago defense, man. I think two defensive touchdowns.
Yep.
That's one on a blocked punt and one on an interception. That's pretty phenomenal.
24 fantasy points.
Crazy.
That's what you want. 2 touchdowns, bro. Come on. 2 interceptions, a fumble, and 2 touchdowns, and a block kick. I mean, they played great.
Yeah. For the Titans, they played great the first half, dude. They're up 17-0. Looked like they're going to win the game. Second half rolls by, could not move the ball, and lost 24-17. I think there's a statistic where it says that teams that are up 17-0 have covered their spread or something. Like 61 and it's 61-1. So teams that are up 17-0. Like they still at least covered their spread if they lost, but they didn't cover their spread, which is crazy, you know.
Terrible, man.
Horrible.
Terrible. Someone was in Vegas crying.
Yeah,
who made the bet and
just to
crazy.
Put Chemo on the spot. That Will Levis was his sleeper quarterback, so don't listen to that man again, brother. Will Levis was not that good.
Yeah. Hey, the Bears defense is playing great. They're playing so that's a good defense.
I'll give it to
right.
You.
Yeah, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions for Will Levis. He looked terrible. I mean, he had 4 rushing attempts, 36 yards. Not bad. You do like rushes. He lost a fumble. Bad week for Will Levis. He's still on my team in one of my leagues, so I'm holding on to him.
Yeah, Pollard. I think he's the RB1 there. Tajay Spears was in there a little bit, but Pollard scored his body, did his thing. 16
attempts for Pollard, 82 yards. He played well. Played good.
Yeah. And then Calvin Ridley's there. I feel like he'll be he was all right, but he could play better though.
7 targets.
Yeah. So
3 receptions, 50 yards. Not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty much Bears Titans. Moving on real quick.
Chig Okonkwo got 2 targets and 2 receptions and 1 touchdown.
Chig who?
Chigazim Okonkwo. The tight end in Titans. Keep an eye on him. The tight end landscape right now is pretty barren, so I don't think he'll do it again, but he might be an end zone threat. We'll see. Just keep an eye on him. I wouldn't add him.
Gotcha.
Waivers. Just saying. Dolphins, Jaguars.
Dolphins honestly had a rough game. Like they did not look like that high-powered offense that they usually have, going crazy 3, 4, 5 touchdowns a game. Like they only had 2 touchdowns, but they didn't like it looked really sloppy. But I feel like they're going to be a promising team. Like I'm not too worried about them.
Do you think it had to do with Tyreek getting arrested, or
Honestly, probably. Honestly, probably put a really bad mental thing into the players' heads. You know,
he did his thing though? 12 targets, 7 receptions, 130 yards, and a touchdown.
he did do his thing, but without that crazy 70-yard touchdown play, I don't know. He wouldn't have done that crazy, but obviously
I
he does
mean,
that.
we said the same thing about AJ Brown, but he did it, and he
Yeah,
can do it, and so that's why I'm not worried about Tyreek.
yeah. Tyreek solid, 100%. And then
Yeah,
honestly, Waddle too, man. Waddle, great wombo combo right there for the receivers, 1 and 2.
dude, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 109 yards. That's almost 20 yards a target for Waddle. It's crazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
knows how to get open, dude. It's pretty fire.
Yep, he's a beast.
A-Chain, dude, clear RB workhorse, man. That man,
Oh yeah,
running
Raheem
that.
Mostert is currently was not a participant in today's practice because they're practicing. They're playing Thursday night this week against Buffalo. He is dealing with apparently a chest injury. Be on the lookout for that.
Wow. Nah, A-Chain owners probably happy with that.
Yeah, Achane with 7 targets, 7 receptions, 76 yards, almost 11 yards per target for Achane as a running back. 10 attempts on the ground, 24 yards, and a rush touchdown. Played great. Fantastic.
Yeah. So if you can get a Dolphins player on your team, please get him. Either Tyree, if you can.
Just so you are aware, today, estimated as non-participant, it is Monday after Monday Night Football, estimated as non-participant with an ankle issue, Achane.
He'll be fine, but don't even chirp. No,
you better hope so.
Trust.
We'll see. Keep an eye out, guys. Yeah. Tune in.
And then, so Jags. Honestly, I like the Jags, man. They're playing pretty good, dude. Like that Dolphins defense is a good defense, and they're giving them the work, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like going forward, they might be a sleeper team. You know, I really liked what's his name? I like Brian Thomas a lot.
Brian Thomas is good. 4 targets, 4 receptions, 47 yards, and a touchdown.
Like he just looked really crisp out there. You know, obviously T-Law could have got him the ball a little more. You know, but
yeah,
everything else he looked really, really clean.
Yep.
Travis Etienne, he looked really, really good too. Great RB, but the one bad thing, like he fumbled literally at the 1-yard line to score a touchdown, and the
terrible
literally
ruined his
ball out.
Ruined his fantasy day.
Yeah, people were
he had 12 attempts, 44 yards and a touchdown, and 2 receptions on 3 targets, 15 yards. So he did his thing.
Yeah, and and that's what else is there for the Jaguars? That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Tank Bigsby, by the way, had the backup running back in Jacksonville, had 12 attempts for 73 yards. So he was actually more efficient than Etienne.
That's
just
great.
So you're aware.
That is
yes, he had more yards per carry, almost double. Close, like 1.8 yards per carry, 1.8 times the yards per carry that Etienne had. So waivers, guys. We'll talk about waivers soon.
Yeah, and then pretty much Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk need to wake up, man. They need to wake up.
Both of them do. Both 4 targets, both 1 reception. Kirk had a bigger 130 yards versus Evan Ingram 5 yards. Tight ends looking mesquine, looking terrible. What do you do with the tight end?
Fade him. Fade him every time,
bro. Tight ends. He was going 6th round. So
yeah, crazy.
It's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Pretty much it.
All right. Seahawks Broncos. I'll take it over here. Kenneth Walker, 20 attempts, 103 yards, 1 touchdown. Currently dealing with an abdomen injury, so that's not something you want to hear, right? But he did good. He did well. Hopefully he can get through it. Geno Smith didn't do very well. He had a touchdown, interception, whatever. Charbonnet, Zach Charbonnet, the backup behind Kenneth Walker, had 8 attempts, only 12 yards, man. 2 receptions, 29 yards, and a touchdown, though. So he did enough.
Yeah.
And he did get a touchdown. So we'll talk about waivers. But if Kenneth Walker's not playing, pick up Zach Charbonnet. We had Lockett with, I think, the most targets on that team with 7 targets, 6 receptions, 77 yards.
Solid.
Yeah, Lockett does it every year, and goes every year. He gets further and further away, like lower and lower.
I think he was drafted round 10.
Dude, later and later, every year he gets drafted later and later, and he continues to do exactly what he does every year before. So, Lockett, great value. DK looked sad. 29 yards, 4 targets, 3 receptions. He was getting locked up by, was it Surtain?
Patrick Surtain, brother. I was just about to say that. Patrick Surtain is just that good of a corner that DK looks so bad.
Yeah. Don't worry about DK, guys. Yeah. That's just, we'll call it a fluke. He is working with Geno. Geno Smith isn't like top tier quarterback. He's decent, but look, you can't expect him to be throwing lights out every game. It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
But just be aware of, if they're playing against teams with like top corners like that, DK could get locked up. So just remember that. But if you have DK, you're going to play him no matter what. Just be aware. Denver, Bo Nix, terrible. He had just 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. That whole offense is horrible. I don't know why I didn't tell myself that. I just am looking at players before the season, and I'm not looking at the team as a whole, and just like the absolute pile of garbage, just like in that team. It's, sorry, MFB, he's not here to defend his team. Actually, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think MFB would even defend his team. I think he'd be like, no, we're trash.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think there's anything else to say about him.
That's it.
Dude, team was terrible.
Horrible.
Sutton had 12 targets. He only caught 4 of those. A rookie, Devon Vele, I don't even know how you say his last name, but dude, he had 8 targets, 8 receptions. Don't pick him up.
Yeah.
Javonte had 10 touches. McLaughlin had 15 touches. Both absolutely worthless running backs. I don't know why I would think to grab both of them in one draft, because I wanted to have one or the other. It's like picking up 2 pieces of trash and deciding which one you want to keep.
Yeah.
Neither. They're both worthless. Sickening. There's no need to panic. It's just trash. There's no panic. It's just garbage. I honestly think they need to both be put on the waivers immediately.
Waivers 100%.
I'll say hold for now if you have them, but don't expect much. Honestly, if you can get a better running back, do it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Terrible. I'll talk about Raiders Chargers here. Chargers, they pulled off the win against the Raiders divisional game. That was, it was an interesting game.
Yeah.
For sure. You want to say?
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Honestly, Chargers were not supposed to be like that until J.K. Dobbins just became J.K. Dobbins, bro. Literally killed.
Dude, I'm not going to lie to you. I forgot. I didn't even know J.K. Dobbins was on the depth chart for the Chargers.
That's crazy.
I didn't even know that. I know. How sad is that, man? And you know what's funny is that was the last episode we were going to do, and we didn't do the episode.
Oh.
So we didn't go over the Chargers.
That is true.
And I'm mad we didn't. And I'm mad that I didn't. I just, you know what I thought in my head? Ignore Chargers. Just forget all of them. Maybe take a shot at Ladd McConkey. Maybe a late round Justin Herbert. But other than that, all I knew was Gus Edwards was number 1. Dude, I don't know why I didn't realize J.K. Dobbins was there. I looked for him in all my leagues. He was already drafted. I didn't even realize.
Exactly.
He went crazy. He got 3 targets, 3 receptions, didn't do much in the air, but 10 attempts, 135 yards. That's 13.5 yards per attempt. Bro, and he had a touchdown.
To me, he's just like a mini Cooper Kupp, dude.
Dude, he runs like a machine, bro. He's insane.
Well,
Ladd McConkey. Oh, go ahead.
My fault. I was just about to say he just he gets the ball in his hands. He makes a move. He knows how to get open and for Herbert to get him the ball. Him and Cooper Kupp's style looks really good, man.
You talking about J.K. Dobbins?
No, I'm talking about Ladd McConkey.
Oh, I was like, dude, I'm pretty sure he just gets handed the ball.
No, McConkey.
Ladd McConkey, 7 targets, 5 receptions, 39 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
He's I mean, they drafted him to come in and be one of the lead receivers, and it looks like he's doing it.
Yeah.
The rest of the team, pretty, irrelevant.
Whatever. Yeah. Quentin
Yeah,
Johnson, whatever. Jaden Rice or whatever. Jerry Rice's son.
yeah, all irrelevant
Yeah.
pretty much. Um, and then they played against the Raiders. Oh man, the Raiders. Zamir White. What an upset, dude. Like he played. I think Madison kind of took over the backfield there.
Bro, because
It
Matt's
felt
playing like
like
a dog.
he played. I mean, he had less attempts and less touches, but Zamir White, 13 attempts, 44 yards, just underwhelming in a fumble, like just
Yeah.
terrible. You had Alexander Madison, 5 attempts, 19 yards, but then 4 receptions, 43 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, off 6 targets. Madison might be worth a peek,
Yeah.
Um,
A little grab and stash.
yeah. Gardner Minshew is not good. He had a touchdown, an interception, and a fumble lost. Brock Bowers was solid for a rookie tight end, man. If you faded the tight end, you picked up Brock Bowers, you're happy with that, man. 8 targets, 6 receptions, 58 yards, did his thing.
I'm taking that as a dude fading the tight end.
Oh, yeah.
Drafted him.
100%.
I'm taking that. 100%.
Devontae Adams, 6 targets, 5 receptions, 59 yards. A little bit worried about that. But like I said, week 1, let's wait and see. Jacoby Myers, 3 receptions on 3 targets for 61 yards. Not bad. I mean, if he got more targets, I think he would have got more yards. So he did his thing. That's pretty much it for the Raiders. Let's move on to Cowboys Browns, BBTB.
Yes, sir. Cowboys Browns. So the Cowboys, I would start with Dak Prescott, but dude, we got to talk about Brandon Aubrey and the Cowboys
The
defense.
kicker.
Bro, Brandon Aubrey automatic within 70 yards. Put that man
It's
any part of the
crazy.
field, he's kicking it, man.
Yeah.
Dude was crazy, lights out, over 20 fantasy points. Dude is for sure getting double digits. You got him in the 9th round. What a steal. He is better than a lot of players, man.
Oh, yeah.
Cowboys D, that crazy defense made Deshaun Watson look like he should not pick up a football ever again.
Deshaun Watson. I'm not even going to say anything.
That was
terrible.
crazy. So Cowboys D is great. So let me get into the players real quick. Dak Prescott, he only had a touchdown, but I can't really blame him. Like, he had a whatever kind of game just because of how good the defense was. They're pretty much up the entire time by a significant amount of points. So I wouldn't be too worried about Dak Prescott. Look, I find the Cowboys as one of the greatest regular season teams of all time. In the playoffs, no. Regular season, time to win games. So
Yeah.
I really like the Cowboys going forward. So don't be worried about Dak Prescott. Honestly, Brandon Cooks, dude, it looks great. 4 receptions, 7 targets, 40 yards. That nice little tutty to fake out that safety up top and get to the left side corner, like corner of the touchdown.
7. I mean, so he was the next most targets after CeeDee Lamb. He had 7 targets, 4 receptions, and he had the touchdown. So
doing his thing, man. He's a great wide receiver too, dude. Honestly, if you could put him at the flex, that might be a good waiver wire pickup. I don't know if a lot of people have him in the league, or if you have him on your bench, like I would low key flex him.
He might be flex worthy. Yeah.
Yeah. CeeDee Lamb, 10 targets, so he's getting his targets. 5 receptions, 61 yards. 3 rushes, 25 yards. He's gonna get the work. Don't worry about him. He'll be solid. I know he probably had like whatever game. I think low double digits or something like that. But I wouldn't be too worried about CeeDee Lamb.
Never. No way.
Yeah.
Did you talk about Zeke with the 10 attempts, 40 yards, and a touchdown?
I did not talk about Zeke.
Come on, man. My sleeper running back, brother.
All right, man. Apologies. So we got Zeke. Zeke. I mean,
revenge season,
Chemo, revenge season. That's literally what we're saying. I think he's gonna be solid. He
Did you see that first rush attempt? He tried to like hurdle a
heard of the
guy.
guy, yeah, on the right
Yeah,
side,
like,
yeah. That
bro,
was
relax,
crazy,
man.
brother. He's trying to put a statement out, a statement out.
Yeah, bro. He's like, hey, bro, I'm not fat and slow like everyone
Yeah,
thinks I am.
not
Straight
the
up.
every
Hey,
single time.
hey, bro. Yeah,
So
man. He's doing his thing.
he was doing his thing. Uh, yeah. So Cowboys, get a Cowboys player on your team, dude. They're gonna be solid. Dak, CD, Zeke, Cooks, all solid. I feel really bad for Ferguson, dude. He hurt himself late in the fourth quarter. Like pretty much plays that didn't really matter. I think he like busted his knee really bad.
Yeah, they're saying it's an MCL injury, but apparently it's not as bad or as significant as they first thought it was. So I
Oh,
wouldn't be
okay.
too concerned, but just keep up with the reports. You'll see, check the apps. All your apps should have reports for the players.
Exactly. So it's pretty much for the Cowboys, Browns. I said it again. I'm gonna say it once again.
Garbage.
Deshaun Watson. That man was horrible.
Horrible.
That
Yeah,
man stole $230 million guaranteed for 5 years. That man stole that thing.
that's
Um,
insane.
dude,
Insanity.
I'm not calling him Deshaun Watson. I'm calling him Massage Watson. That man
Brother,
is tripping. I'm not a fan of that guy. Fate
he's
and
a freak.
yeah, that
Freak.
guy. There's a couple reports coming out from him from October 2020. Another court case, by the way. Looking
Oh
at
my
all.
God, bro. Yeah,
So,
I
Deshaun
just
Watson.
Deshaun Watson just pass out and maybe like keel over and just like maybe not die, but like just cripple or something, and then
Yeah.
just let let whoever's behind it, let James Winston go to town, man.
James
Let him go
Winston?
crazy.
James,
Yeah, he's the backup there, man. Let him go out there and just slang it, bro.
he's a
Be good for the rest of the whole team
yeah.
and probably the fan base too.
Mhm. And what you got? So we have Judy, we have Amari Cooper. Had a lot of targets. Judy had a touchdown catch. But Cooper and Judy
Yeah,
pretty much had 8 and 9 targets right there. So they're getting looks. It's just Watson could not get them the ball. Cooper was open
yeah,
twice for I think for like pretty much almost a touchdown, and
yep,
just couldn't hit it on him. So it was a little frustrating. Um,
yeah,
and then and then you got Njoku. He was playing really solid. 4 receptions, 5 targets, 44 yards. But he hurt his ankle pretty badly on one of the catches.
yeah. He's currently week to week, according to Kevin Stefanski. So
Exactly. So yeah, little difficult on that one. But
yep.
yeah, anything else about the Cowboys and Browns?
Uh, I don't know if you might look. I said don't panic after week one. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
Amari Cooper got the targets, so I wouldn't panic. But man, for a fourth round pick, you're a little bit nervous. It
yeah,
doesn't feel good. Nervous, not panicking, guys.
yeah.
But yeah, that's about it for me.
Mhm.
Uh, Bucks Commanders. What do you got for us?
What a game, man! That was a good game.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was fading a lot of the Bucks players, but man, boy, was I wrong.
Really?
Yeah, man,
Really?
I was not a fan of
Wow.
Mike Evans. I was high on Godwin. Don't get me wrong, I was high on Godwin, but not like this
Yeah.
kind of performance.
Right.
Dude, Baker Mayfield, dude, he had 389 yards, 4 touchdowns. Like I'm not expecting that out of Baker Mayfield,
Yeah, man.
but pretty much got the job done. Mike Evans, man, consistent red zone target, 2 touchdowns, 5 receptions, 61
He's
yards.
at what 10 seasons in a row, 1,000+ yards, and he's still going.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's the one guy,
Yeah,
honestly, I can admit I was wrong about. He's still that guy, dude.
Mr. Consistent, bro. He just doesn't stop, man. Let's hope he doesn't get injured or anything, but
Yeah.
I think he's gonna keep it up.
Yeah. Godwin, 8 receptions, 8 targets, did not drop a ball, man. Ball got to his hands.
He was on it, man.
He knew
He's
what to do.
he's over 1 year removed from that injury. I think he might be back, man.
Oh, dude, he's back for sure. Because I remember I was telling
Yeah.
you on that episode before. I have Godwin like crazy. Even he was going 7th round, I think, 8th round.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dude, cleared. He's a
Steal.
great wide receiver too, easily.
Yeah. He's a steal.
Yeah. And then we have Rashad White, 15 attempts, 31 yards, 6 receptions. Could have did a little bit better on like rushing wise, He was getting the attempts. Bucky Irving was in there a little bit, But I don't know. White didn't live like I wasn't impressed with White.
So I mean, he had 6 receptions on 6 targets for 75 yards. So in the air, he did good, but
Yeah,
on the ground, he was like averaging almost a little over 2 yards a carry. It's terrible. He
exactly.
had Bucky Irving with 9 attempts, 62 yards. I mean, you're looking at like over 8 yards, 8.5 yards a carry
That's
for
great.
Bucky Irving. And then in the air, he was 2 receptions, 14 yards. So he had 7 yards per reception. It still matches Rachaad White. So if you're a Rachaad White owner, are you nervous about Bucky Irving?
Yeah, if I was a Rashad White owner, little nervous, man. He looked good, dude. Like just running
Yeah.
wise, passing. Rashad White was doing his thing, but
Yeah.
Bucky Irving looked
Still,
good.
man. Yeah. No, you never know. They drafted him. They brought him in. They might use him more. So it might be more of a timeshare there. So
Yeah. To the Commanders, Jaden Daniels, um, and a pretty much really good quarterback, just like Lamar Jackson, just on his feet. Can he throw the ball? Didn't see it in the game.
yeah. No interceptions though. No fumbles lost.
Which
So that
is
was good.
crazy. Yeah, yeah. But he was just running that thing though, dude. Way
Mm-hmm.
too much. But he's a
Yeah.
great fantasy pickup. I'll tell you that. Like if you have a quarterback, running back,
Hey, if you fade the QB
that's what
and
I'm
you hit
saying. Fade the
Jaden Daniels,
QB.
man.
Jaden
Man,
Daniels, your guy.
probably one of the best quarterbacks to pick up late.
Oh, easily. Yeah. So he had 88 rushes, two rushing touchdowns. Nothing in the air.
88 rushing yards. I thought he said 88 rushing attempts. I was like, excuse me?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
88 rushing yards. Good. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. And then Brian Robinson, 12 attempts, 40 yards. I think he's kind of pretty much solidified himself as the RB1 instead of
Yep.
Eckler. Eckler,
Yeah.
don't even know his stats. Pretty much wasn't in the game like that. Probably there.
He had more of he had some work in the air, 4 targets, 4 receptions, 52 yards, but Brian Robinson had 4 targets, 3 receptions, 49 yards. So
Yeah.
so he was more efficient anyways than Eckler.
Exactly. Scary Terry, not so scary. I'll tell you that.
Scary to have on your team, that's for sure.
Seriously, man. 4 targets, 2 receptions, 17 yards. That is what you call pathetic.
That was pretty bad.
Man. Yeah, and then throw all the other wide receivers in the trash, whoever they're, De'Ame Brown, and whoever else they got.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is going to be running the ball,
Yeah.
not throwing it much. I mean, throwing it, yeah, but he's going to be running the ball most of the time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't be worried about the receivers there.
Yeah. Anything else for Bucks Commanders?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
No, yeah. All right, let's move on to Lions Rams. Lions got the dub. Pretty honestly great Sunday night game. I liked it a lot. Monteen Gibbs, great 1-2 punch.
Yep.
Like seriously, like no fault in their games, man.
Yeah, dude, I just want to jump in here for a sec.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm way higher on Gibbs. Or before the season, I was way higher on Gibbs than I am on Montgomery. I'm like, dude, Montgomery, they're going to phase him out. But dude, if you watch that game, and especially near the end of the game, and you watch Montgomery run, he was running like a dog through
Easily.
everyone, carrying players with him. I was like, this guy's crazy.
He was nuts.
Dude, unless he gets injured, it's going to be a timeshare, bro. And I
Easily.
really didn't want to believe that. But after seeing that Monday night game, or the Sunday night game, sorry, dude, I really believe it's going to be a straight timeshare between him, Montgomery and Gibbs, bro. So,
Easily.
yeah. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, and then so pretty much, yeah, those two 1-2 punch, great dudes to have on your fantasy team. Definitely try to get one of those guys if you don't have it.
Yep.
Jameson Williams, dude, great connection with Goff. Could be a solid flex moving forward.
Dude, 9 targets, 5 receptions, 121 yards, and a touchdown.
That's crazy, dude. Like I would definitely, if you got lucky in the draft, you got him rounds 12, 13. You shouldn't be on the waivers, but if you got lucky, stash him there. Wait one more week, see what he does, and if he pops off something similar like that, I'd put him at the flex for sure.
Definitely have him on your team, though. Don't leave him on waivers.
What else we got? Oh, man, Laporta and Amon-Ra. Oh, my gosh.
The two studs, both underwhelming, man. Sam Laporta had 4 receptions for 45 yards on 5 targets.
Yeah.
But Amon-Ra had 6 targets, 3 receptions, 13 yards.
Yeah, honestly,
That's
like them still
terrible.
getting the dub with their 2-star guys not doing as good, like that's a good sign to me. I think things to come. So not too worried about them, but
Yeah.
obviously talking that they had a shitty week 1.
Oh, yeah. It was not
Um,
good.
yeah, and so yeah, moving on to the Rams. Sorry, Mr. Puka Nakua, you got a bad injury in the first quarter.
He's in line to be placed on IR, so he's missing at a minimum 4 weeks. They're saying it's a knee injury.
PCL.
It is PCL. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't. The only report I see is it is sprained right PCL. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. But I'll be honest with you, I knew Puka Nakua had that knee injury going into the season. I faded him, and I think that I was telling a lot of guys fade Puka Nakua just because he has that knee.
No, you didn't tell the hoodnies. You didn't tell the podcast.
I might have. Go back to episode 7. Go back,
right.
Rams,
All
episode
right.
7. Let's see what I said about Puka Nakua. I wasn't a fan of him, but I was significantly high on Cooper Kupp. Dude,
Yes.
Cooper Kupp, prime Cooper
21 targets.
How can you
14 bro,
Dude.
Cooper Kupp might be back, man.
Bro,
21 targets is the target leader on anyone. No one had more than that or even close to that.
Because last year he started the season off missing 6 games, coming back from his hamstring, playing very limited, Now he's healthy, he's back. He's kind of like Godwin, you know what I mean? Like Godwin was not healthy. Cooper Kupp wasn't healthy. They finally got their stuff back.
And you mentioned that when we talked about the Rams, you said they finally got all their weapons back, man. They're all back.
That's what I'm saying. They have their
except
weapons.
they just lost Puka Nakua.
But it's fine though. Cooper Kupp, dude. The receivers and the tight end, they're kind of doing their thing too. So like I'm not tripping over them,
Yeah, you had Tyler Johnson there with seven targets, 5 receptions, 79 yards. He did his thing.
Yeah, and then Kyron Williams, solid RB1. Like I think he did his thing, right?
Kyron Williams had 18 attempts, 50 yards, and a touchdown. So he did enough, man. He did his job.
I'm happy with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. First round, second round pick, you wish you can get more out of it, but obviously. he got all the work. None of it went to the I think Corum. Ronnie Rivers had 2 attempts, but that's it. I don't think Blake Corum even touched the ball or looked at the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Or smelled the ball.
Yeah,
for that matter.
Real, yeah. So honestly, overall, Rams and Lions, great Sunday night game. I would try to get one of those players on your team, dude. If you got Cooper Kupp, you're probably or you're not getting Cooper Kupp off of anyone. If you somehow get him,
if you can trade for Cooper Kupp, go trade for Cooper Kupp. Go get him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's gonna be he's gonna be great.
Yeah. Anything else for the Lions and Rams?
I think that's it. I did mention about Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery going to be that 1-2 punch this year. I really think that's going to be a thing. So just so you guys are aware, unless something happens to one of those two, none of them. I don't think either of them are taking over as just a clear cut RB1. All right, let's move on to 49ers Jets. So, Jordan Mason, man, 28 attempts, 147 yards and a touchdown.
Crazy.
Apparently, there was a stat that said that he had the most rushing attempts under Shanahan ever. Is 28, I guess. I felt like McCaffrey might have beat that last year, but I'm just gonna say I'm gonna believe the stat. You guys can fact check it if you want, but he had a lot of attempts, tons of yards. He did great. He did amazing filling up. I really hope if you drafted McCaffrey that you reached and made sure you got Jordan Mason in your drafts.
Yeah.
I told many people that had the first round pick, just make sure you get Jordan Mason. And he did amazing. You know what I mean? So it definitely would have been smart to do that. Deebo Samuel also had 8 rush attempts and a rushing touchdown. So they were using him a lot in those little like trick plays and stuff. 9 targets, 5 receptions, 54 yards, did what he had to do in the air. Brock Purdy, this is a guy that if you faded the quarterback and ended up with him, you're not very happy, right?
Yeah.
No interceptions, but 231 yards in the air. He did have a rush attempt for 11 yards, but irrelevant,
Yeah.
I mean, Kittle, he had 5 targets, 4 receptions, 40 yards. Not what you want out of your 4th round, 5th round tight end. Ayuk just signed that huge $120 million contract to do what? 5 targets, 2 receptions, 28 yards. So I said this in the podcast. I said, dude, when him and Shanahan had some beef, Shanahan just put him out of the script and said, "You're good, brother."
Yeah.
Like, we're just not really going to play. Like, so I was worried that he wasn't going to get enough work just because Shanahan's like, dude, we can win without you, bro. If we need you, we'll make sure you get the ball, bro. But we don't need you. Now, he did drop a touchdown. And so he didn't train. He wasn't in training camp. He was holding out, waiting for, negotiations. Is he going to get traded? He wants a contract, blah, blah, blah. So he didn't perform. So this is where you have to pay attention to players that are not active in training camp, that miss time, that don't practice and don't play in the preseason. He missed an easy catch. It was a dime of a pass from Brock Purdy. So that if he caught that, his fantasy day looks 10 times better.
Exactly.
But that's about it. I'm not going to talk about Juwan Jennings and anyone else on the 49ers. Let's move on to the Jets. Dude, the yard leader was Allen Lazard with 6 receptions on 9 targets for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And I just want to say this. He played with Aaron Rodgers before in Green Bay. So they might have a connection. So I will bring that up in the waivers. So just so you guys are aware. Breece Hall did his thing, did have a fumble, but it doesn't matter. He still got in the end zone, 16 attempts, 54 yards. He also had 5 receptions on 6 targets. He's a beast. The 49ers defense is just really good. The ball got punched right out of his. I saw the replay. It was it Fred Warner or
Fred Warner?
Yeah, he just socked the ball right out of his. I mean, it's hard to even do that and time that. So good on him.
Yeah.
I can't blame him that much. It's a really good defense. Garrett Wilson led the team in targets, 11 targets, 6 receptions, 60 yards. Garrett Wilson, he looked great, man. He looked great out there. He didn't get the touchdowns or any touchdowns for that matter, but I mean, he still looked good. He's the number 1 for sure. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he had an interception. I think he tried to rush. He had 1 rush attempt. He went backwards. So that was, please don't rush Aaron Rodgers. You're going to tear another, Achilles. We don't want that. Please. For Garrett Wilson's sake, please. There was a stat. I'm serious. There's a stat. He's been in the NFL for 3 years, right? It's 3 years, right? Yeah. He's had 7 different quarterbacks. He's had 7 different quarterbacks.
That's crazy.
Imagine, bro. He hates his life, man. He's like, dude, please just give me someone and let me play with him. Let me make a connection.
Yeah.
He'll get better. But Aaron Rodgers, he did have the touchdown to Lazard. I guess the other QB must have thrown because Aaron Rodgers only had 1. So Tyrod Taylor did throw a touchdown to Lazard. I just have to put that stat in there. Just so you guys are aware. Only 1 touchdown came from Aaron Rodgers. The other one came from Tyrod Taylor to Lazard. Keep that in mind. Everyone else on the team was pretty much irrelevant. Yeah, that was pretty much it for the Jets. I'm not worried if I have Garrett Wilson. They played the Niners. Niners are a tough defense. Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't maybe start him, but Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, you're going to start, and we'll talk about Lazard when we get to the waivers. But that is all 16 games. We are now at almost an hour and 20 minutes.
Crazy.
Any other thoughts, BBTV?
No, that's pretty much it. Honestly, hype week 1 of the season, man. Couldn't waiting for months.
It was good, yeah. I mean, yeah. If anyone listened this long to this episode, big shout out. I mean, this is, if you're on, you must be on a long drive or something. But, yeah, thanks for listening in. We're going to have to split this episode. So we're going to end this one here and we're going to just do a waiver episode, separate one. We'll release them both.
Exactly.
Because I'm not making anyone listen to all this just to hear the waivers.
Yeah.
So anyways, thanks for tuning in with me and BBTB.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you guys on the next episode. We talk about week 1 waivers.
Yes, sir. Peace.
See ya.